I'm moving from side to side. My hands are on my face. And I just couldn't sleep. I'm 9 years old. And tomorrow I am going to Valley Fair. What's Valley Fair? Valley Fair is a theme park just like Six Flags. My friends at school had been talking about it. At Valley Fair, they have a roller coaster called the Wild Thing that goes up and down and loop-de-loop all across the park. There is a log chute where when you go in, it's like you're in a wooden log. You go from the top, it goes shh into a bunch of water and then splash all over. And they have go-karts. You go in the go-kart, you have your hand on the steering wheel, you put in the keys, you turn it on, it's like vroom vroom, and you speed on through a driving course. I just couldn't wait. The next morning when I woke up and I finally went to Valley Fair with my family, it was just like I dreamed. The Wild Thing was green and red and went side to side, and you could hear kids yelling and screaming and saying hooray. The log chute, there was even more water, and you get drenched more than I ever thought. But one thing I didn't expect was the food. You guys know how much I love food. When I walked into the park, the first thing I did, I was like, what is that? It was the sweet smell of funnel cake, and funnel cake was a mixture of like a freshly baked dough mixed with a bunch of sugar and strawberry sweetness. Oh man, it was good. But there was one ride that my brother, sister, and I had heard so much about. One ride that we were aching to go on, and it was called the Pirate Ship. The Pirate Ship. Now, this ride was the scariest, the amazingest, the most thrillingest, the awesomest ride in the entire theme park. Everyone at my school had been talking about, did you go on the pirate ship? Have you done it? Have you done it? This was finally my chance. It was finally my chance. So my brother and sister and I, we get into line, and it's a long line. And we look at this pirate ship. It's a special kind of a ride. You go in, they strap on your seatbelts, and there's a ton of seatbelts because it's so scary. And when it starts swaying. Imagine a little ship going frontwards and back, frontwards and back, and gradually it gets more speed and more power until it goes upside down. And you just wait there. I remember standing in line. I saw kids going on the pirate ship one by one. They were screaming and shouting, and when they would come out, they'd say, oh, that was amazing. So we waited. It was a long line. We waited and waited, and we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. It felt like the whole day passed us by, but finally we were at the front. It was my older brother, my older sister, and finally me. And there was a man who was wearing a striped shirt and a hat who was letting everyone in, and I saw how he was doing it. First, my brother went up. He said, "Good morning, sir. Have fun." And then my sister came. He said, "Good morning, ma'am. Have fun." And then I went. He said, "Good morning, sir. Have..." And then he stopped. He looked at me. He said, "Sir, can you do me a favor?" I said, "Sure, what do you need?" He said, "Why don't you go and stand right next to that rod?" I said, "Okay." So I stood next to the rod just like this. He says, "Just as I suspected." I said, "What do you mean, just as you suspected? What's going on here? What did you suspect?" He says, "Sir, you're too short for the ride." I said, "What do you mean? I'm too short for the ride?" No, I can't be too short. Let's try it again." And I put myself next to it, and he said, "Yeah, you are too short for the ride." I said, "No, but I've been waiting, and it's so amazing. It's right in front of me. Everyone's going. Everyone at school's talking about it. Please just let me go." The guy said, I'm sorry." And so I mustered up every ounce of cuteness in my body. You know what I'm talking about when you really need something. I mustered it all up. I got my eyes all pouty and my face all cute. And I was like, sir, pretty please, with a cherry on top. And he said, if I could, I would, but I'm just so sorry. I remember walking away from that ride, and as I walked away from the ride, I heard a little horn because what it meant was the ride was starting. And so I looked to the side, and I saw my brother and my sister on the ride, and they were smiling from ear to ear, and they were laughing, and I heard my brother saying, Ameen. This is so much fun. And in that moment, I thought to myself, this is just not fair. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome. Allow me to introduce myself. For those that don't know me, my name is Amin Asr, and I am the author of Noor Kids. What is Noor Kids, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. Noor Kids is let's see if I can grab this. Noor Kids is a series that features Amin, Shireen, Asad, and Amira. And every month you get a new book in the mail as a part of our character education program, like The Art of Giving. You also get a passport. We're able to collect badges from every single book. If you're a member of Noor Kids, inshallah, you love it. If you are not, today, and today only, you can try Noor Kids for $1 anywhere in the world for $1. And not only that, I will actually be personally signing the back. So you'll get my signature as well. Anyway, enough about me. Today we're talking about fairness. Not just fairness, we're talking about Black history in the United States of America. So I'm going to be doing a couple of really interesting things today. I'm going to be reading out of a book. I'm going to be telling you another story, and we're going to be eating some chocolate together. Oof! So sweet and satisfying. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to be reading out of a very special book called Fairness for All. But before I do, I just want to let you know, if you are not subscribed to us on YouTube, if you're not following us on Facebook, if you're not following us on Instagram, what are you doing? Are you really even living? Are you? Okay. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube especially. All right. So I'm going to be reading a book out of this book called Fairness for All. Now, of course, Noor Kids follows the story of four characters, Amin, Shireen, Asad, and Amira. They live in a city called Maple Grove, and they go to a school called Northport Elementary. Here you see Shireen. She is on she's surfing. Shireen is a trailblazer. She loves exploring all around the world with her mom, who works for National Geographic. Then there's Amin, who's building a sandcastle here. Amin's a sports star. He loves baseball and soccer and football. He's got an older brother in college named Hasib. Sometimes he does stuff without thinking about it, because then he makes mistakes. And then there's Asad. Asad is a scientist. He loves breaking things apart just to figure out how to put them back together again. And he has a little baby sister named Yusra. And then there's Amira. Amira is an artist. She loves exploring all of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's beauty through art and poetry and painting. Now, every one of our books has two stories in it. I'm going to be reading one story out of this book called Finding Fairness. But before we start, I need you to say, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I didn't hear you. Mom and Dad, you got to say it too. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Finding Fairness. All right. Mr. Salman returns graded book reports to the class. I got a gold star, says Amin. And if you read this, it says, Pele, the king of soccer, I think. I actually can't read that well because I'm not wearing my glasses. Oopsie. Me too. Shireen got one too. And it says, oh my gosh, I can't read it. This is so bad. All right. I'm sorry, I can't read it. But Shireen got a gold star too. Asad's report has a silver star on it. A silver star? And when you look at it, it says orbital speed and oh my gosh, and how something works. But anyways, it sounds really complicated and really detailed. There must be some mistakes. Shireen and Amin did easy stuff. I wrote about orbital speed and in satellites. My topic was so much tougher, says Asad. Asad asks Mr. Salman about the assignment. Mr. Salman, why didn't I get a gold star, says Asad. Mr. Salman says, well, I expect more of you, Asad. You can do better, says Mr. Salman. Frustrated, Asad returns to his seat. More? Better? Says Asad. On the way home, Asad complains to Mom. Mr. Salman said he expects more of me, says Asad. He said he should treat us the same. That's not fair. Asad, I know the silver star upset you, but treating you the same wouldn't be fair, says Mom. Asad says, but I thought treating people the same is what it means to be fair, says Asad. In her car seat, Yusra, his little sister, starts crying loudly. Asad, please give your little sister the new toy I just got for her. It's in my purse. Did you get me a new toy too, says Asad. Not today, Asad says, Mom. It's not fair. You never treat us the same, says Asad. And then Mom says, well, I have to show Asad the meaning of fair. Later that evening, Mom makes Asad's favorite dinner, burgers. Oh, and I love burgers. I'm so hungry. The burgers smell so delicious. Thanks, Mom, says Asad. Asad sits at the table. Oh, the burgers are for your father and me, says Mom. Why is there baby food on my plate, says Asad. Well, you wanted me to treat you and Yusra the same, so I gave you the same dinner, says Mom. Asad grumbles to himself but eats the mashed carrots and potatoes. After dinner in the family room, Mom takes out blocks for Asad and Yusra to play with. Where's my tablet, Mom? I was gonna read, said Asad. Well, you wanted me to treat you and Yusra the same, so you can play blocks with us, says Mom. Can't she read with me? As long as you do the same, says Mom. Yusra chews on the blocks, and Asad imagines Yusra chewing on his tablet. Nah, blocks are okay. Finally, it's time for bed. Asad brushes his teeth. He does his wudu, and he goes to his room. You see that? And he brushes his teeth. He goes to his room, does his wudu, and then Mom says, I've set out your pajamas. Asad picks up the pajamas. What? These are baby pajamas. And not just that, they are girls' pajamas, says Asad. Well, you wanted me to treat you and Yusra the same, says Mom. Asad says, but I didn't want to be treated, I don't want to be treated the same anymore. I'm different, says Asad. Asad throws himself on the bed and covers his head with his pillow. Mom sits on the side of the bed. That's what I've been trying to tell you, Asad. You are different. If I treat you the same as Yusra, it won't be fair for you. If I treat Yusra the same as I treat you, it won't be fair for her. Asad rolls onto his back. Okay, but that's Yusra. I know she's just little. What about my friends? Shouldn't Mr. Salman treat us the same? Asad, Mr. Salman has a difficult job, says Mom. He wants all his students to reach their highest potential. Potential means he wants each of the students to do the best they can. That means he doesn't just want you to do a good job. He wants you to do your best. Mom continues, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to be fair. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that to be fair, we must treat people based on their own unique circumstances. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treats us too. He knows us and He keeps track of what we have done. Okay, Mom, I get it. I knew you would, says Mom. I don't really have to wear these pajamas, do I? Says Asad. Mom laughs. Of course not, says Mom. Mom hugs Asad close. All right. So, by the way, I love that story. Round of applause. Bum, ba-dum. Let's talk about this story for a moment. Why does Mom treat Asad and Yusra the same? Well, the reason why Mom treats them the same is because Asad says, well, I think to be fair means to be treated the same, right? If I'm treated the same, that's what it means to be treated fair, right? Well, when Asad was treated the same as Yusra, was that actually fair? No. Because Asad had to eat baby food. Asad had to wear baby pajamas. Asad had to play with blocks, right? Would it have been fair if Mom were to treat Yusra the same way as she treats Asad? No, because she's just a little baby. So what does to be fair mean? Is being fair, does that mean to treat people the exact same? No. To be fair means to treat people based on their own unique circumstances. Every single person is different, right? So based on who they are, based on their age, based on their capability, based on who they are, to be fair means to treat each person appropriately. That's why sometimes your mom and dad might treat you a little bit different than they treat your little brother or your big brother or your big sister. Or that's why your teacher might treat you a little bit different than your teacher treats the other people. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does he give each one of us the same thing? No. Each one of us are treated based off of our own unique circumstances. All right? Now here's the thing. All right? This is not just about the way that you and I are treated by our parents. I want you to imagine that we're playing a game of Pokemon. All right? First, it's me playing with your mom or your dad. Now, if you haven't played Pokemon, the way it works is you first start out with a little cute, itsy-bitsy little Pokemon that's super cute and not very strong. And it's called like Pikachu. And Pikachu's so cute, okay? And it's like, Pika, 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 okay? And it's not very strong, but it's cute. But as you play longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer, that Pikachu starts to grow and it starts to get stronger and it starts to get meaner and it starts to get bigger and it turns into a Raichu. And a Raichu's like, rah, 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 rah. It's like strong. All right. Now, of course, if you know Pokemon, what you know is with these Pokemon, you actually go to battles. And if you have a strong Pokemon, a big Pokemon, one that is really strong, when you go into a battle, you're going to win. So I want you to imagine that me, Amin, and your mom have been playing Pokemon for years. We've been playing Pokemon for years. So we don't have little, Pikachus. We've got a Raichu now. We've got all these big, strong Pokemon, and we're battling each other. We're having a good time. And now after we've been playing for years and years, we let you play. And when you start with a little Pikachu. Oh, Pika, Pika, super cute, Pika, Pika. Not very strong. Now, if we're playing the game together, do you have any chance of beating me? Do you have any chance of beating me, who's been playing for so long, who's gotten all these Pokemon, who are so strong? Can you, with your little Pikachu, beat me? No. There's no way. There's no way, because we have been playing the game for so long, and you are just starting. I want you to be thinking about that as I tell you the story of black people in the United States of America. About 400 years ago, in the United States of America, there were white settlers that came from Europe. And these white settlers who came from Europe thought to themselves, look, we want to get more people in America, and we want to get people who can work for us. So what did they do? These white settlers from America, they went onto ships, they traveled far, and they went to Africa. And in Africa, there were people. And these people were kings and queens, and they were some of the richest people in the world. And what the white settlers did when they got to Africa is they started kidnapping some of these black people. They started kidnapping them. They would steal them. They would kidnap them. They would put them onto these ships, and they would come back to America. And in America, these white settlers had enslaved these black Africans. They enslaved them. So what does it mean to be enslaved? To be enslaved means that from morning until night, from the time that you are a baby up until the time you are old, you are working for them. Perhaps it might be working in the fields. Perhaps it might be working in the home. But they had enslaved these black people. That means the kids, for example, they weren't able to have any other jobs. The kids weren't able to go to any other school. The kids weren't able to, eat any other, types of, food. They were enslaved. Now, this was about 400 years ago that this started. Things changed. There was a group of white and black people together who said, look, this is not right. This is not fair. This is not appropriate. We need to end this practice. And so they rose up and they fought against this whole concept of slavery, and slavery got abolished. I want you to say it with me. Abolished. Abolished. Say it one more time. Abolished. Abolished. One last time. Abolished. Abolished. That means that they ended slavery, and black people in America were freed. They no longer had to work for these white settlers. Instead, they were able to go to school. They were able to, get regular jobs. They were able to buy homes. But again, I want you to think back to this Pokemon situation. If me and your dad or me and your mom had been playing Pokemon for years and years and years, and now you started playing, would it be fair? No. It can't be fair. Why can't it be fair? Well, it can't be fair because I have a Raichu who's strong, who I've built over time. Your mom and your dad has also been playing. They have all these strong Pokemons, and you're starting with a little baby Pikachu. That's not fair. And so if you and me were to put in the same amount of work, is there any way that you could win? No. And similarly, because of that, because of all of that history, black people have to work harder to achieve the same success because of this history. Now, that's not where it ends. After slavery was abolished, there became something that was created called discrimination. Discrimination was this feeling that people started to have, especially people who were angry about slavery. They started to feel in the back of their minds, because they had been seeing these black people as being enslaved for so long, they started feeling like they didn't want to live in the same neighborhoods. They didn't want to eat in the same restaurants. They didn't want to go to the same schools. And so these people started to discriminate or start to treat black people poorly. And of course, that's not fair. And of course, that's not right. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because each of us, as we grow up into adults, we are going to be seeing people of all different shapes, colors, and sizes. And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do, of course, is to treat people fairly. So what does it look like to treat people fairly? Well, I am going to show you what it means to treat people fairly, and I'm going to show you with the help of some almonds, and I'm also going to show you through the help of some eggs. But before I do, I actually got to turn the lights back on in my facility because the lights have turned off. But just give me 1 second. All right, I think that should do the trick. So first, here, you'll notice I have one egg, which is a brown egg. And I'm going to grab one more egg over here, which is a white egg. All right? So you'll notice that these two are different. All right? On the outside, they are different. One is brown, one is white. And this is kind of similar to us. Okay, some of us might be brown, some might be white, some might be blue, some might be purple, some might be green. I haven't seen any green people. But anyways, on the outside, we might look a little bit different. But are both of these eggs, are they different on the inside? Well, let's see. All right, let's crack this bad boy open. All right, and by the way, I already had breakfast, but we'll use it for my lunch. I hope it doesn't make a big mess. Oof. Open. All right, so we see that. It's a nice little egg. You see a little yolk in there, a little bit of yellow. Okay, so that's number one. Now let's try this one. There's a white one here. Oh man, I really hope this doesn't go everywhere. My nice little, egg everywhere. Okay, but you notice, they're both eggs, right? They are both eggs. And do you think they'll taste the same? Well, let me try it. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to drink an egg. Come on, I'm not crazy. So similarly, the reason why I want to tell you this is because remember when I was telling you about how sometimes people feel, or they had this feeling of discrimination, that like, oh, because of the color of their skin, they're different? Look, some of us might be brown, some might be green, some might be purple, some might be white, some might be yellow, some might be pink, some might be green, although I haven't seen any green people, but blue. But on the inside, all of us are human beings. So if we ever think that someone is different just because of the color of their skin, that's just not true, right? We are all human beings. Now that said, I want you to imagine that I am at your house with your mom and dad. And your mom and dad have these chocolate-covered almonds. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. All right? Now I want you to imagine that your mom and dad gave you one of them and gave me 3 of them. All right? Your mom gave you one of them and me 3 of them. All right? And now there are 2 more. All right? They have 2 more and they're deciding who should we give these 2 more to? Would it be good for them to give 1 to you and 1 to me? Well, if they gave 1 to you and 1 to me, that would mean that you would have a total of 2 and I would have a total of 4. That's not right. Should they give both to me? Well, that means I would have 5 and you would have 1. Well, that's not right. It would be best for them to take the 2 and give them to you. So that way you would have 3 and I would also have 3, right? That's what would make the most sense. And so similarly, right, if we think back to that story, right, if I have a Raichu because I've been working so hard at Pokemon and you have just a little Pikachu, Pika. In order to make it fair, there's no way you would be able to beat me. I have to give you a little bit extra. I have to give you a little bit extra help so that way you can be on an even playing field with me. Do you see that? It's called restorative justice. Say it after me. Restorative justice. Bum, ba-dum. And so similarly, when we think about race in America, when we think about the history of how black people for 400 years were enslaved and then they entered the game, it's like it was they were Pikachu, Pika, and the white settlers were like Raichu. Right? They had been playing in the game for so much longer. So now, if we have one thing and we can give to each, that's not fair. We have to do it fairly. We have to give them to one group because of the history. All right? That's called restorative justice. And that's of fairness. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know you are thinking one last thing. You're thinking, Amin, this is all fair. This is all good. This all looks delicious. How does fairness taste? Well, oh my God. When it hits your throat, it's like a little bit of heaven. I don't think I've lived. It's so good. It's, oh my goodness. Allahu Akbar. I'm of course just kidding, but I am going to be eating these chocolate covered almonds. But until next time, inshallah, we'll be meeting you next week, same place, same time, and inshallah, I'm looking forward to see you soon. P.S. Like I mentioned, NoorKids.com right now for 99 cents. We'll actually be shipping this to you. It'll be your first month, and we'll be signing your very first book. Go to NoorKids.com, benefit from our work, and support us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.